Hi, thanks for joining Better Husband, Better Father. So for a quick moment, I want you to imagine that you find out there's a snake in your child's bed. Whoa, what would you do? How would you do it? I mean, it seems pretty obvious you'd get that thing out of there, right? You'd get your kid out of the bed, you'd get that snake out of there, and you'd get rid of it, right? And so today I want to talk a little bit about devices and social media with your kids. Right. And so I think it's kind of one of those things, I'm going to share my experience with you. Also, there's a podcast I listened to today. It's called the Dad Edge Project, I believe. I'll put the link down below. And it was a portion of, they had a roundtable, and it was a portion of that discussion that they talked about devices. And they were talking specifically about, what's the right age to let your kids have a device and some of the approaches, some of the apps you can put on to monitor your kids' activity and so on. Again, I'll put a link down below. There's an app called Bark that helps you to monitor and to have information about what your kids are accessing. And so they were going through all of that. And it made me think about the decisions that I made with my kids. And here on Better Husband, Better Father, the information that I'm sharing with you and the journey that I'm sharing with you and the conversations we're having together, I'm by no means saying I'm an expert. I'm a fellow traveler. I'm someone who is a husband and a father. And so I'm making no claim of authority here, nor that it's even the right path. But I can share with you what I've done and the results that I've gotten from what I've done. So when it comes to devices, I recognized very early on that this was something like a snake in your bed, to be very kind of avoidance was really kind of the approach I've taken. So when it comes to our oldest daughter, we really kind of dodged a bullet there. She, had a device when she was probably about 12 years old. It was an iPod Touch. Ended up that after a couple of years, it ended up where it didn't work. And she herself just decided that she didn't need another one. And so, it came to where she was in high school. It was her sophomore year, then her junior year, then her senior year, and she still didn't have a device. She still didn't have a phone. And so the first time she got a phone, our daughter was actually 20 years old. And so pretty amazing. Our second daughter, what happened is that, and of course kids start asking if they can have a device. And our daughter, she was, probably asking when she was a little bit younger, probably 10 or 11 years old. And we just said no. And she was, 12, 13, 14. And so she ended up as a sophomore in high school. And she ended up trying out for the cheer team. And she ended up being on the cheer team for the high school. And at that point, she still didn't have a phone. And it became difficult for us to coordinate with her as far as she'd be out somewhere, at practice or something. We'd have to pick her up. And so it was at that point we ended up having to get her a device. And it was a phone. And so she was 15 years old. So now we have twins and they're 12 years old. And so our kids, my son in particular, has said, hey, can I get a phone? Can I get a flip phone? Whatever. They're 12 and we've just flatly said no. And so, they've asked, oh, when do you think? And we said, well, no time soon. And hey, your oldest sister was 20 when she got hers. So probably somewhere along there. And I'm laughing because I'm sure that people are like, man, you're nuts. So we really took the approach of avoidance. And don't get me wrong. I'm certain that my 12-year-olds, what'll happen is they'll get into high school. And if they're in particular activities, that there's going to come a point where there's just no way around it. And they're going to have to, right? They're going to have to get a phone, a device. And so my reasoning and my thought process there is I've known the serious threat that social media can provide from an addiction standpoint, from an influence standpoint. I've also known that there's an incredible amount of challenges that come in regards to just the addiction factor. And so as far as that goes, my approach was really avoidance. And I'm perfectly aware it's not if, it's when they will end up with a device. Also, there are many, many advantages and good things about having technology that's accessible to us. And so from that perspective, right, I've really kind of had to take that into consideration. But I feel like, that will come with time. And so I've taken the approach of avoidance first. So let me kind of pose that question to you, right? How about you? How have you approached devices with your kids? Have you approached phones with your kids? And what sort of challenges or issues or concerns have you had? Like I say, I've got a link posted below. Feel free to check it out. It's not in kind of inclusive kind of coverage of devices or anything along those lines. It's just a high-level conversation between a group of fathers. And so I hope you enjoy that. And so with that, that's going to do it for me today. Remember to like, subscribe, comment below, and good luck in your journey as you seek to be a better husband and better father. Thanks so much.